Urgent major crypto update. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neo, where we keep technical analysis short and sweet. So we're looking at Bitcoin right here, and we see that it is following this red up curving trend line here. But ideally, we may end up seeing this consolidate a little bit further. We really just need to get above this point right here, which is around $123,305 more or less for Bitcoin. And if we can get a close above that, we can start seeing a similar momentum to these red lines back here. With that being said, moving over to D-Force. D-Force is building that W bottom, still in consolidation, does not have that major pop to go up to around 43% increase, but we may see something rapid like that happen. I'm just kind of waiting to see for us to get over this 200 EMA before entering into D-Force, and we're really at the bottom of this channel for this specific coin. So it is possible that we push back up to the 200 EMA and then push to this downward trend line. And if we can break that, then this will continue upwards. However, this may be a longer played out crypto to be looking at, which brings me over to Floki, a meme coin, but looking very nice, also forming a W on the bottom, holding somewhat some support on this upward trend line. And we want to start seeing this 200 EMA curving upwards, as well as this moving with this black trend line or pushing up above this previous high. The 618 is all the way up here at 0.00023. However, I would like to see the RSI, what we are looking at, to get a little bit better visual. That, add back in CM Guppy, and this is kind of what we were looking at. The RSI is looking very healthy. Touched once on the yellow line. If we get another touch and support, we will start seeing this curve up towards the top of the RSI, which means people are buying and we will start seeing the coin go upwards. However, if it breaks this trend line, we could expect a drop back down to 4 zeros and a 7, but with Bitcoin's movement upwards, I don't believe we are going to be seeing that. None of this is financial advice. IOTA forming within this upward wedge. If we can break this line right here at 0.034 cents, we could expect the next move to be anywhere within this area around 0.05 to 5.5, and then the major downward trend line is this one up here, anywhere around 0.07 to 0.06. The 618, keeping in mind, is right here at 0.062. So it is under 3 cents at the moment. However, this coin is at an almost absolute bottom. Entering at any point in this area is not a bad idea, as it's starting to support some upward trend line momentum, and the bull market or altcoin season is starting to kick in. Moving over to near inverse head and shoulders, playing out almost exactly as I had displayed here from about a week ago. And once we get over this 200 EMA and close, this thing could be pushing back up to the $5.10. And then if it breaks that downward trend line, it also has a very long way to go to get back up to the $20 mark from around $3 at the moment. So the risk to reward ratio is definitely in your favor. If you decide to enter into near, it is not a bad moment once we close over that 200 EMA. Moving into Xcn. Xcn, a lot of people are freaking out, saying it's going to be very bearish and the entire coin is finished. I beg to differ. We've seen this before, where we have a long drawn out period and then some high volume, which is this push right here, and I guess the beginning of the year 2023. And then once again, high volume. We have high volume once again. And since we are trickling out, you're not seeing a whole bunch of sellers. You're seeing the market kind of move sideways. The 200 EMA is very strong on this one. And if you haven't entered into Xcn, I highly recommend it. There may be a little bit of a pullback. You could see a pullback as far as down here, around 0.0076. If you have a stop loss in there, you're probably screwed because it'll tap that and then it may even do a little bit of consolidation, acting like it'll go further, grab some more liquidity, and then take off the other way, which ultimately, if we draw it out, would be a W. And so then breaking over this area, which I guess is this area, would finish out the cup and handle. And that's something that would be pretty major for XCN and have a continuation to a new high. It doesn't look the best as we keep lowering and lowering this trend line, which isn't really the best strategy to be doing. But making sense of the information that we have, it is trying to create a new low, lower than this one. But this is the other low that it has to keep in mind. So it's got a roughly this amount of range to be trading through if it starts to drop lower. However, with Bitcoin and altcoin season coming, we can expect further increase in price, and this downward trend line is very strong support. So if we do touch somewhere in here, may be around 0.009, but if we do not and we hold support and get back up over that 200 EMA, you can see some major bullish momentum as it was acting like it was going to be sold off here and then pumped to like no other. So keeping all that in mind, XCN, definitely it's going to be a good one for this altcoin season. But it's not financial advice. Don't listen to me. I don't know anything. I've just been correct for a lot of this YouTube session, I guess, in general. And XYO starting to try and break over that 200 EMA, which is exactly what we were looking for. I was saying previously we need to curve back up towards this downward trend line, not have any rapid movements, as this was a rapid movement, and it was a major sell-off right back to the 200 EMA. So now we are going to start seeing some more buyers. We want to see the volume increase as well. RSI keeps disappearing for some reason, but I'm going to go ahead and say that this is right around the 50 as it pushed way up, came back down, and now we are trying to get a little bit of consolidation, holding above that 200 EMA, creeping over this downward trend line, and then this thing will take off. The 618 is right here around 0.016 cents. And I have this yellow and green box played out from a previous video saying this is the yellow area we were in, this is the area we are currently in, which we had this point looking at the 4th of November, major touchdown to this bottom trend line. And then here we are again, major touchdown to the bottom trend line, major push up, came back in. We had a little bit of consolidation coming back down to the trend line, and then just shot up right over the 200 EMA, bull flag, and then another major push to the upside. So XYO is definitely going to be one that will skyrocket when this season starts to fully kick in, which brings me over to XRP, the one I like to dollar cost average, take profits and pull into XRP. It's more stable. It's just going to be used in the future, no doubt. And so I highly recommend stacking a bag of XRP if you have it at 50 cents or within this $2.30 to $2.65 area. We are getting a little rejection of this downward trend line, but nothing to worry about. It's mainly to look back at Bitcoin, and we see that Bitcoin just has a bearish day, trying to make an absolute all-time high above the 123. I remember when I was buying Bitcoin at 139 and then now at 123,000. That's just ridiculous. And that's kind of what I expect to happen with XRP. You see $3 now. Before you know it, you'll start seeing it at 100. Before you know it, it'll be up in the thousands within the next 5-10 years. They say even 5 years, and that's actually a high possibility. But looking at this, we entered in to the area of concern, which is around August 13th to August 21st. And if we can get above this downward trend line, we can start seeing some bullish momentum, which we could do a short fib from the top to the bottom of this. We see it went to the 618 area, breaking over this 347 area. The next stop 420, the next stop roughly $5.22 to 620 to 679. We'll most likely get some resistance within this area. So just keep that in mind. But XRP is definitely a good buy no matter what. But again, not financial advice. Moving to XLM. Similar pattern formation as XRP. Had that little bit of rejection. We could even draw another downward trend line. I believe I put it in the last video and it disappeared. Say that this is the downward trend line. It's trying to break over that. And if we can get a hold above that area around 0.46, we can start seeing this push up to this high at 5.3 and beyond for Stellar. Definitely a good bet. If you're buying into XRP, I highly recommend taking some of the money and putting it into XLM, as this has very good use potential. Some people say the all-time high can hit $50. Spell token in consolidation, still trying to get over that 200 EMA. I am most likely not entering until it gets over that 200 EMA, which would be very close to breaking that downward trend line. And then once we see that break, we can start seeing the exponential gains that Spell can give you for a meme token. But just keep that in mind. It's at a very, very low point. And that's when you really want to be buying, is when it's at the absolute lows. But you want to make some educated guesses on that. It could continue to go lower and lower for a long period of time, as it is a meme coin, or just disappear in general. Who knows? I guess it's not a meme coin. Somebody corrected me on that. It's magic internet money correlation of something or other. But it's very, very low in the price, which means a little bit of volatility goes a long way. If it goes down a little bit, some people freak out and sell and lose money. If it goes up a lot, similar thing, a lot of people start to sell at the top as they want to get out if they have been trapped. Moving on to LCX, I ignored this one for a while, but I am bringing it back as we are trying to cross over this 200 EMA. If we can see a hold and support above that 200 EMA, it may be a very good time for an entry, as last time we saw that happen. Roughly, this is where it closed over. If you're looking at this exact pattern from here to here, and then you look at this pattern here to here, very, very similar. And you see that in this exact point, whenever it was getting over this previous high, like it is right here, it had that major push up, which was about 111%. So LCX is looking pretty good for an entry. Just keep an eye on it. I'm personally not entering it just yet. And then lastly, Hbar. Hbar is in consolidation, but also trying to break out in correlation with XLM and XRP, and looking very nice. So if you are looking at entering Hbar, now it is looking a little bit healthier, and we can start drawing a better upward trend line, something similar to this, and it would be good to see support on that for the next push upwards. That's it for this video. Like and subscribe if you want. References in the links below. $10 free in USDT if you use that reference link from XC, where you can trade Tornado Cash and PinLink and a few others that I recommend. None of it's financial advice, but good luck. Have fun with it. I will see you guys on the next one.